Hello, dog lover. My name is Saro. I'm a dog trainer, also coach dog owners. If this is your first time, welcome. And if you are a member of this channel, welcome back. If you want to learn more about dogs and how to train dogs without the use of treats, food, aversive tools, force, domination, even being alpha, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon as well, so you will get notified as soon as I post my next video or whenever I go live. In this live video, I'm going to answer your dog related questions, and I'm going to talk about the topic that is in everybody's mind at this time. I believe it's the coronavirus and pets and you. So we're going to talk about that as well. And meanwhile, if you have any questions, make sure to submit them and type them in the chat area, and I will read them and I will answer them right away. Let's get started with welcoming you to the another dog live training show. Um, in this channel, we focus on training dogs and educating dog owners to become an educated dog lover. What that means is everybody is a dog lover. Everybody loves dogs. But my goal is to provide you information and material that you can educate yourself to become an educated dog lover. Not just a dog lover, but an educated dog lover. And today I'm going to start the show with the topic of a little bit scary actually to talk about it and discuss, but we need to talk about it. The situation that is happening all over the world, um, which is coronavirus. And I wanted to share some information that I have gathered and maybe talk about this because I have received some questions from my dog lovers and my audience that they have asked me about dogs and the virus, if they are able to catch it and they're able to spread it and all that things. So I'm gonna share with you what I know at the moment. So basically, if you have a puppy at the moment, if you have a puppy who's between 8 and 14 weeks, let's say it's a really puppy, don't worry, take your puppy out, let them be socializing. Don't stop socializing them. This is very crucial time for puppies, and they need to be exposed to many situations, sounds, smells, all kinds of things. So at the moment, there is no worry about allowing that, especially if you have puppies and also dogs in general. But it's very crucial that the public health is considered as well as your pet's health, mentally and physically. So I would suggest if you have a puppy at the moment, take them out, let them go outside and be exposed to everything and everything that is possible. As far as we know, there was one dog who was tested positive for coronavirus in Asia, and we're still not clear that whether this dog was contaminated by the human um, or some other animal. They're not sure, or something that the dog sniffed at. There's no clear results yet, so we don't know what's going on really. So even though dogs can have it, it could be looking something like kennel cough or something like that. They will be coughing. So be aware of it. Um, if you're not sure, always wash your hands after touching your dog. Your dog could be contaminated by the virus from others, either coughing on your dog or your dog touches somewhere. So they may be contaminated externally, and whenever you touch your dog, you may be transmitting the bacteria to yourself, especially if you're touching your face and your head. um, Always wash your hands after touching dogs. For instance, for me, that I work with dogs and I have a doggy daycare as well, I'm stopping, and I have to keep reminding myself to stop um, touching dogs. And if I do, which is very hard not to touch the dogs, um, and when I do, I always wash my hands. If you are, for example, going to a doggy training center or place, make sure that also, again, you wash your hands in the center itself, and make sure that the facility is taking care of the environment that they're running their training classes, and they are disinfecting and using sanitation protocol. Uh, if you are getting the virus and are safe, you have got the virus and you're self isolating yourself, make sure that your dog also has someone to take care of, right? And somebody has been admitted to take care of your dog just in case. And also make sure that you have worth of 3 weeks of pet food, dog food, your dog's food available, just in case if you have to quarantine yourself for 3 weeks, few weeks. Just in case that happens, you make sure that you have medication, food, all the regular emergency, protocol. At the moment, somebody was asking me, should we be testing the dogs, if there is, for the virus. At the moment, there isn't any. I don't think there is any place that uh, they do it. Priority at the moment is humans, and we shouldn't be worried about that yet. At that For that purpose, I would suggest you not to worry about it. We'll talk about this topic a little bit more as we go along throughout the show, and I'm going to start to answer some of your questions. Avocado, he has a question. Thank you for being here, Avocado. Hi, Saro. I got a new dog. His name is Dexter. My other pup passed away due to parvovirus, but I want to know how to prevent my dog from coronavirus. That's what we are talking about it at the moment. That's the thing. We don't know yet. We don't know exactly what's going on. But as far as we know, let me see if I can read you something that I've received. At the moment, we don't have a clear understanding if it really affects the dogs, but I would suggest you to take as much as precautionary actions that you can take, just to make sure that you, your family, and your dog are not going to either catch it or be transmitting it. So whether you to your dog or from your dog to you. So maybe I would suggest to make sure that whenever you take your dog out, make sure that you wipe it down, maybe with a wet towel, with a little bit of something that you can disinfect your dog's body fur, just not to the paws, wipe down the paws, just to make sure that nothing like a strong like shampoo. You don't have to shampoo your dog all the time, but it's good to wash once in a while. Wash your dog once in a while. If your dog goes out all the time, if it's exposed to public, and if you feel that your dog is ill and is not feeling good, make sure that you isolate your dog. Definitely, just like you would do when you may have an issue with the dog, just kennel cough. What we do, you isolate the dog and make sure that it's not exposed to other dogs, and um, just for a few weeks, and then just monitor, see how it goes, and be careful. And again, if you touch your dog, always make sure that you're washing your hands as well. So I'll talk about it a little bit more throughout the show about this issue. But yeah, everybody is asking these questions and we're talking about it. Uh, best thing that I would say, just wash your hands after you're touching dogs and be careful a little bit. There isn't any danger to the dogs at the moment. Just as you said that your dog passed away from parvovirus, that's very also strange. It doesn't happen all the time, but if sometimes it happens, you have to make sure that your dog is vaccinated. I don't suggest over vaccination. Maybe puppy level vaccination that the first few shots that the puppies get, that should be enough for the rest of their lives. If you're not sure if it's working and if they are protected or not, I highly suggest you to do titer test, which is basically blood test. They test the immunity of the body of your puppy or your dog to make sure that they have all the protections. And if one of them is low, like parvo or anything is low, they will let you know, and then you can make a better decision whether you vaccinate or not. But make sure that your puppy has at least puppy shots and the first shots regarding all the shots that they need just to protect. You never know, it may protect them from coronavirus as well. The next question is Charlene. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the show. How long of a leash should I be using to train a beagle puppy? How long of a leash should I be using to train a beagle? Let me see. I think I would explain this in two parts. I think I understand the question, but I will answer it both ways anyways. First of all, if you're training your beagle, you need to use a 6-foot leash. That would be the start of training a beagle to walk on a leash. A 6-foot leash is a good distance between you and your beagle to give. More than that, it becomes a little bit too much, and shorter than that becomes uncomfortable as well. So 6-foot leash it's an ideal length of a leash. The reason we suggest 6-foot leash because in the wild and also wild dogs, what they usually do, the parents, they don't let their pups to walk further than 6 feet from the parents. If the puppy rears off more than 6 foot, the mom is going to go grab the puppy and bring it back closer to her or him, the parents. So 6 foot is the safe distance that naturally a pup is allowed to be away from its parents. So that's the idea behind it. The reason for that is because we want to, as a human being also, we want to make sure that the puppy or the beagle or the dog is safe. If you have your dog 6 foot further, if it's further than 6 foot, you don't know what they're going to get into. It's too long. It's too risky to have a dog further than 6 foot unless you have trained that dog. Now, if you want to start training your dog to go further and further, I would suggest to start working on the dog to walk with you properly on a 6-foot leash first. And if you see that your dog is walking nicely with you within 6 feet, you start adding more leash. You can buy longer leash and just start giving a little bit more distance to the dog. The other thing that I do also at the moment, I'm doing too with my puppy Annie. I have a 35-foot leash that I attach it to Annie, and I let Annie drag it at the park, and I see if she is trying to run away or is trying to stay with me, nearby me. If she stays nearby me, which is good. If I see that she's running away too far, even further than 35 foot, I grab the leash, end of the leash, and bring it back. That's how you start allowing a dog to learn to walk, around you, going back and forth. But this process itself, it takes almost a year. So it doesn't happen overnight. It takes a year to learn a puppy and a beagle, especially, to learn to walk with you, by you, properly. Almost a year. I've done that with my own beagles. My first beagle, Jonah, it took me almost a year and a half, almost 2 years, because in that time I didn't know exactly what I was supposed to do. With Harvey, I got him going within 6 months, and with Annie, I'm still working on her, so we'll see how it goes. So I think I answered your question. So I would say a year it takes to train a beagle puppy to learn to walk properly on a leash. And if you want to use long leash, and how long it shouldn't be longer than 35 foot, and you start with a 6 foot leash. Next question is from Carl. Hi, Saro, the king, my beagle, have started to slide on the back. Any ideas why? Started to slide on the back. I don't understand exactly what the question is. What is the problem? Yoko, do you know what the question is?
No, I don't understand. Slide on the back where? Like on the floor or?
Carl, can you explain a little bit more what your question is? We don't really understand what the question is. Can you explain a little bit more? And I'll get back to you in a moment. Next question is from Offer. Hello again, Saro. Good to see you. Doing well. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here, and good to see you as well here. And thank you for being part of the community. Question: how to get a beagle puppy, 15 weeks, interested in me enough to get sustained training session. She's losing interest after 5 minutes. Very good question. At 15 weeks, it's almost there. Puppies, they don't have patience. They can't focus. The reason for that is because everything and anything is new for them. Everything they're experimenting and understanding things in rapid speed. Everything is new for them, so they are having a hard time understanding exactly what is going on. So they can't really focus on one thing. Their focus is in 100 places. Unless, for example, they have focus on something special, like, for example, my Annie, she'll just, if when it's food time, even my Harvey, when it's feeding time, when it's time to eat lunch or dinner or breakfast, that's it. Their focus is that food. Give me food, and nothing else matters. The food is the most valuable at that time to them. But there are times, for example, I also train Annie at, let's say, 6:30 p.m. usually. At 6:30 p.m., she goes by the door and starts whining, and she's focused on being trained. Because of the system that I use, which is play and praise reward system, she is desperate to play with me and be trained. I call that, training session, and she's wanting to go and be playing and get trained. So that's how fun it is for her, because she wants to not only play, but she wants to interact with me. So you have to make sure that time that you're spending with your puppy, it's really interesting and it's really fun. So if you do mix play and praise reward system, if you have watched my videos, you see I include a lot of play in the training, and that play encourages my puppy to continue on longer than 5 minutes. I can train Annie 15 minutes, good 15 minutes. I can go longer than that, but I don't want to go longer than that because I know if I go longer than that, she's going to start fading out because she's going to get tired mentally and emotionally and physically, and she's going to start um, not registering the information that I'm sharing with her. So she's going to start ignoring me. So I make sure that it's within 15 minutes. 15 minutes, good solid training and play. A lot of encouragement. I get really animated. I'm not the same person. I become a silly person, right? I become so different that, and I feel what works for my puppy. If my puppy needs me to be speaking high voice, I talk high voice. If my puppy needs me to interact with me because I see that she's excited for this toy when I play with her, but not that toy, I play with that toy. Whatever you can come up with, and however you can come up with to be interesting and not boring to your puppy. Get involved with the play and praise reward system. Most of the time, in most cases, when people are using treats or food to train their dog gets tired of the food of eating because dogs naturally they're not food crazy. They just want to eat and get over it and then go and do other stuff. They want to go eat and then play or sleep or go for a walk or do whatever. Eating is not their priority. It is in a way, just to stay alive, but not to eat to live. They're eating because they need to. So when you are training your dog and you're using treats or food to train your dog eventually within 5 minutes or so they're going to lose interest because that's not their priority. Their priority, I would say, to you is you you as a dog owner, you are the priority to them. If you interact properly with your dog is going to be more interested in that activity, that you actually pay attention to me, they say. You're actually spending time with me. You're not focused on other stuff. So one of the things that I always suggest also to dog owners is remove the food and also be interesting, but also try to turn off everything that is going in your head. Sometimes we start thinking about stuff, work related, or mortgage, or this or that, and we're not really focused on our dogs. And our dogs can read that, can sense that, can feel that. And as soon as we start drifting away in our mind, but we're physically there, but in our mind, we're not there, we're somewhere else, they feel that, and that's when they also start losing interest and start fading out because they say, oh, you're not focused on me really. You're thinking about something else. They can sense those, they can feel those. If you start thinking about something else and you're not 100% focused on your dog, they will tune you out and they will tune out as well. So, for example, in my dog training classes, I remember that I used to ask people, since you're here for an hour, be here, put away everything that you're thinking and put away everything that you are worried about before you come into the class and let go and just focus on your dog. And some people had a hard time doing it. They get a text, they have to answer it right away. They get a call from their family members, they have to answer it right away. They distracted. So for 15 minutes, if you just focus on your dog and if you just tune out everything else and just be with your dog, be in the moment, be in the zone, be in the zen moment, kind of, and be interesting and fun, I guarantee you, your dog is not going to lose interest. Charlene is saying, thank you. You are welcome. Uh, Charlene is asking, what kind of hairbrush should I be using for my beagle? For beagles, you don't have to use any harsh brush. Just regular soft brush will do. I think I have one here. I'll show you. Um, Something like this, this nothing fancy, nothing, you know, um, dramatic, just something simple. It doesn't have to be very hard or rough. Wire, it doesn't have to be wire brush either, just a soft brush, which is okay for beagle fur length. But if you want to dig in and go a little bit further than that and get rid of the undercoat, I highly suggest you to use Furminator. I'm sure you've heard of it, Furminator. If you haven't heard about it, just Google it. You'll see what it is. I'll see if we can get and show you the exact what the brush. This Furminator is great brush. It works really good for undercoat. It removes all the hair, like especially around this time that the season is our season is changing. They will start shedding a lot more. So I highly suggest you to brush at least for 5 minutes using Furminator, maybe 2 3 days a week for the first 2 weeks of seasons changing, and then it will be okay. You won't see much of a hair or something like that shedding happening. I don't have it at the moment. We can't find it at the moment, but just Google it, Furminator, you'll find it, and it will be okay. And I've I've tried three kinds of hairbrushes so far, but doesn't seem to work on his type of hair. Um, well, have you tried Furminator? Let me know if you have tried Furminator. Let me know if you have done that. Ofer is saying extremely insightful, valuable advice as usual. Many thanks for your patience and time. You are very welcome. That's the goal here, to give you valuable advice and give you information that you can really um, take in and take action. Most places, most information that you're getting, it's the same. I would say everybody says do this, do that, done. No, you got to go a little bit deeper than that. I try to go a little bit deeper in everything that I share with you guys, uh, because that's what it's valuable. That's what it matters when it comes to us and dogs. What it really matters is the connection that we make with our community, in our world, in our friends and family, and also with our dogs. The communication and that connection that we make with our dogs has to be solid, has to be real, has to be legit. That's why I always say, most dog owners, they try to pretend that they are spending time with their dog, but you really have to spend time, valuable time with your dog. Now, let me talk about continuation of the effects of coronavirus and our dogs and in our lifestyle, which brings me to this, that this is a time that we can take action and be more connected to our dogs and our community and our friends and family. Um, Negative things are happening out there. Everybody's asked, all the health departments and everybody is telling us to isolate ourselves, stay indoors, and wash our hands and be careful and all that. Um, I think this is the time we can really start focusing on what really matters, which is us and our people around us, including our dogs. So it's a good time to take care of ourselves. This also relates to our dogs. So taking care of yourself and your dog is just simply being there with your dog, right? this is a time, if you have the opportunity and if you are unfortunately have to stay indoors and be with your inside of the house and be with your family or even dogs, try to take advantage of this opportunity and make it positive and spend quality time with your dog. Try to connect with your dog to the deeper level. Um, Make sure that you are not only taking care of yourself but your dog in a way that um, it's beneficial. Take time to train your dog. Spend time training your dog. Play and interact with your dog. Connect with your dog. Start making sure that you are developing a healthy relationship with your dog. So your dog is going to have a great connection and get value from you. So it will improve its behavior. One of the things that you and your dog can do is change your diet. If your dog is eating kibble or dry food, remember and understand that processed foods are damaging and making your dog's internal system to be weakened. If even you, if you're eating processed food, a lot of sugar, a lot of carbs, this is the time to improve your life and reduce this, not only to defend yourself from coronavirus, but improve your lifestyle. Too much sugar, too much processed food, too much carb are the reason why our bodies get weak. We become immune to uh, pathogens and bacteria, and that's how we become ill. But if your body and your system is strong, uh, you can fight it. And your dog, the same. If you're feeding your dog kibble or dry food, you're weakening your dog's body system. So I would highly suggest you to change the diet, change the food, change what you're eating, change what your dog is eating. Try to eat fresh food. Try to cook at home since you're at home. You're staying home. You can go to restaurants, cook at home, eat fresh food, feed your dog fresh food, fresh meat, fresh vegetables, uh, green leafy vegetables, uh, fresh eggs. If you feed your dog those kind of food and yourself fresh food, they will have a better immune system to fight off diseases and bacteria. Try to exercise. It's for me myself, it's hard to put time to exercise, but if you're staying home and you have the time, do some exercise at home. You don't have to go to the gym to exercise. You can do a lot of exercises at home. You can do a lot of things, lots of activities that you can do at home easily, without any even equipment. You can do exercise, and if your dog needs exercise, maybe pick a time that you can go outside without having a lot of people around. Just go for a nice walk with your dog. That's good time to connect with your dog and also good time to um, exercise your dog. The other thing is, make sure that you and your dog are getting enough sleep. It's important to have a good sleep. uh, I have a hard time sleeping also, to invest long hours of sleep, but maximum, like, minimum at least, you need to sleep 6 hours. And your dog, many dog owners, they don't realize that their dog, whether they're puppy or not, adult, they need a lot of sleep too. Dogs need to sleep throughout the day. That's how their lifestyle in general is. They don't have to exercise and be doing something all day. They need a lot of sleep. So provide a lot of sleep for your dog. Sleep yourself. Try to sleep 6 to 8 hours um, minimum, and the longer the better. The more we sleep, the more our body has the opportunity to fight off the bacteria and viruses, and has the opportunity to repair itself, because it happens during our sleep that our body fixes, including our dogs. They repair themselves. So give that opportunity for your body and your dog's body to have that, at least 6 hours of deep sleep to repair. So it's good idea to, again, if you're staying indoors, relax, sleep. Sleep is a good medication. It's sleep, used to be bad. People used to think that sleep was bad. If you were sleeping, you were wasting time. But recent studies have shown that if you sleep, actually you're doing good to your body. If you sleep, you're going to die soon, earlier. That's what we used to hear. People used to say, "You can, I'll sleep when I'm dead." But if you, the reality is, if you sleep a lot now, you're going to live longer. So you're not missing out anything. If you sleep, we used to think if you sleep, we're going to waste time and live short, but it actually is the opposite. If you sleep, you live longer and you have more time to enjoy longer, healthier life. So sleep is other uh, concept and idea that you can improve and change in your daily life. So take care of yourself. Change your dog's yours and your dog's diet. Make sure that you're feeding and eating fresh food. Um, Exercise as much as possible, and sleep. These are a few things that you can implement now and change. Elizabeth has a question. My 8 month old miniature poodle, Timmy, barks at everything: other dogs, people, cars, trucks, even big leaves blowing around. So, 8 months old, poodles usually, the problem with poodles is that they are barky breed. They are type of dogs who are bred in a way to bark. Now, miniature poodles, they're a little bit more sensitive than regular poodles or regular dogs. So barking is something that is natural. It's something that you can't really take it away from a poodle, but what you can do, you can start managing it. Um, there's a continuation. He walks quite nicely on a loose leash until he sees any of the above. Um, I raced home not to miss your great show. Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you. That is great. Uh, thank you for doing that. Thank you for being here. Um, so 8 months old miniature poodle. So it's something that natural for it to do. Barking is something that is natural. So it's like beagles. Barking, it's there. We can't get rid of it. We can manage it. Now, if everything is annoying your miniature poodle, that's causing it to bark, I think it has to do mainly with um, lacking confidence. So a puppy, up to about 6 to 7 months or even 8 months, they're still learning, still processing life. Where am I? What is this? What are these? Why is that leaf moving? Why is that person, walking? Why is that thing moving? Car moving? These are all things that are they're still processing it. So one of the things that I would suggest is, or I think I've seen that happens, is that most puppy owners, they don't socialize their puppy early enough and long enough. You know, as soon as I got my Annie, which was about 3.5 months old, I started taking her everywhere and exposing her to everything that I can. I'm still doing it. because I want her to get used to everything that is happening. So, for example, I'll give you my personal example. So, Annie, we have a yard and we have a fenced yard, and the fence, out of the fence, there's lots of things happening. And she would come. Harvey is fine. Harvey doesn't care what's happening because he's got used to it. But Annie, because all these things were new, she would start barking and chasing things and nonstop. But now she is okay because I've allowed her to go and be exposed to all those sounds and experiences. So she knows, that's another car passing. That's another person passing. She doesn't bark all the time, but she still barks once in a while. That is because that one thing that I haven't noticed what it is, but they notice, is bothering them. So once they get used to it and they get exposed to it, they will get over it. But it takes time for them to be exposed, and you have to invest a lot of time and energy to expose them to everything and anything. So that's one part of it. Allowing the puppy to be exposed to everything and anything that is possible early enough and long enough for a long time. Now, the other part of it is the human who's doing that, is allowing the puppy to be exposed. If the human is not informed of what it's supposed to do, then you will do the wrong thing as well. You will make the wrong move, or you will express the wrong information. So therefore, what you do as well is important. So in cases, for example, if a dog is barking at other stuff, instead of me yelling at the dog, stop it, don't do it, hey, all that, which translates from dog's point of view as me joining him or her at the barking. So your dog is saying, "Oh, I'm barking and you're barking too, so we're doing the right thing, right? Let's do it together." Right? So you don't want to be loud, you don't want to be aggressive, and also you don't want to be expressive that way. What you want to do is teach your puppy a cue word that means stop that behavior. And I think 2 weeks before, I posted a video on my channel that I show how do I teach this word or the cue to my puppy Annie, which is no. You can use any word that you want, but I use no. So no means stop that behavior. And I taught this verbal cue to Annie using play and praise, and now she knows that no means stop that behavior. So whenever I see her, even thinking about looking at something and is thinking about either barking or fixate to that thing, I say, Annie, no, and Annie stops. And that's the beauty of um, teaching this cue to your dog. I use the example of many years ago when I had adopted Harvey, my other beagle. He used to be one of those dogs who would chew on sticks. If I took him for a walk, he would chew on sticks and was fascinated by sticks. So I would off leash him, and then he'll go, and I'll see him that he's starting to work on a stick. I would say, Harvey, no, and he would drop the stick. So that's the beauty. I don't have to yell at him. I don't have to chase him. I don't have to stress myself or stress my dog. I just teach the cue word, and my dog reacts and responds to that cue word. So teach a cue word. Again, I posted a video, I think 2 weeks ago on my channel. Go ahead and watch that video. Learn how to teach this cue word to your puppy. And whenever your Timmy is getting to that zone that is barking or is getting stressed or is getting fixated to certain things, tell Timmy no and get Timmy to focus on you rather than the leaf or the truck or the car or the people or other dogs that are walking. Get your Timmy to focus on you. Stop it without causing any big deals, big scenarios. Don't make it big scenario, but teach the cue word first. But and then expect Timmy to respond. So the teaching of the cue word, it will take a week or two if you start now, and within 2 weeks expect Timmy to respond to it. So don't expect it to happen right away. Um, so expose your puppy, but control your puppy, and get your puppy to respond to you and listen to you and get cues from you. I think I answered that question. We have Charlene. Charlene. If I wanted to change my beagle's diet from dry food to healthy food, how do I know how much to feed him? Do you have any information on that? Yes, I do. I do have information on my channel. What I will do, I make a note here. I will post the video link, which I go through all the details of this topic, um, in the description after the show is over. I'll do that after. But basically, what you want to know is find out your beagle's ideal weight. Let's say I have a beagle who's for 35 pounds. uh, 35 pound. I multiply it by 10, it gives me 350. So 350 gram is the amount that I feed my beagle daily. So find out your beagle's ideal weight, multiply it by 10, it will give you the amount in gram that you need to feed daily, not per meal, but daily. So Harvey, my beagle, is 35 pounds. He gets 350 grams of food per day. That includes the treats that it gets. It includes the uh, vegetables, the meat, everything. Daily intake. That's how you figure it out. And I'm so glad that you're choosing to change your beagle's diet, going from unhealthy diet to fresh, healthy diet. That is amazing. I thank you, and your beagle is going to thank you. They love the fresh food diet. My dogs, they just gobble it down. They vacuum it. Elizabeth is asking, he went to puppy kindergarten and didn't bark there, but I agree that maybe I didn't get him out walking early enough. Yes, so that's a good point, Elizabeth, that you're bringing. You see, many dog owners, again, they think, okay, 6 weeks, let's say it's a puppy class is a 4 to 6 weeks or 8 weeks class, right? 8 weeks course. They only take, they only do whatever they're doing during that time. The rest, that's when you take a course, it doesn't mean that when the course starts and ends, that's it. When you take a course, the course finishes, your training starts. That's when you actually start working on your dog. Because fortunately or unfortunately, most classes, they are not able to provide enough information for dog owners, and that is one of the reasons I don't provide puppy training classes, or I don't do group classes, because um, it's just too distracting. It's too much for dog owners. I highly suggest to take online courses. I do provide online courses, by the way. If you're interested, I have an online course that you can start actually learning how to train your dog, which is on, you can get all the information on sarodogtraining.com. If you are not able to, especially now in this day and age now, we're not supposed to expose ourselves to other people, like, be exposed to public, especially group classes, or instead take online courses. It's safer if you do it at home. um, but That's the thing. In group classes that I used to run, which I don't do anymore, I used to see, especially when I was running puppy classes, dog owners themselves were distracted with puppies, cute puppies running around doing silly stuff. They never paid attention to what I was saying. I would tell them, you gotta expose your puppy, you gotta socialize your puppy. When you go home, do this, do that. I give them a writing, I send them email, I do, they go on my website and read information, I send them videos. Still nothing. It's just we are not focused. People, humans, when it comes to dogs, we lose our focus and we forget to do the right thing. In group classes, lots of things are happening. People can't pay attention, can't be focused, and therefore they don't get the results that they want. Therefore, this is what happens. The core, you took the course, but you know that's it. You ended there. You have to follow through and continue on exposing and socializing. Basically, this is what you need to do when you are thinking about your puppy or dog. You have to provide your puppies or dogs daily five essential needs, which are exercise, training, socialization, care, and affection. Every day you have to provide these. Not Monday, not only Monday to Friday or on the weekends only, every day. Holidays, long weekends, Christmas, every day you have to focus on providing these five essential needs for your puppy or dog throughout their lives. Every day, throughout their lives, they have to get these, and you have to focus on providing those. Um, Next is Daniela. How should you react if your puppy has an accident indoors or choose something they shouldn't? These are two incidents, two different situations. So if your puppy has accident at home, is not your puppy's fault. I always blame the human. It's a human error. If a puppy has accidents, that means the human didn't pay attention and wasn't focused, right? We're talking about focus. So here, what you need to do, first of all, you have to have, if you want, you have to have some form of plan uh, to deal with this situation. If your puppy needs to be potty trained, you have to have a plan. The plan is every 2 hours you have to take your puppy out. Whether they have to go or not, you take your puppy out. Um, in case if you want, you can have a pee pad inside of the house just in case if you forget. Humans, again, we can't focus. We're lacking that because we are thinking thousands of things. We're doing hundreds of things too. So, hmm? Yeah, we're multitasking. So we forget to allow our puppy to do the right thing, which is don't have accident indoors. But things happen, we forget, and we allow the puppy to make that accident to happen. And if you have a pee pad available, in case if you forget if something happens, you're giving an option to your puppy to do its business on the pee pad. But overall, you have to be taking your puppy every 2 hours out. Whether they have to go or whether they have to do it, you take it out, wait 2 3 minutes, allow them to make that decision whether they have to go or not. And then if they go, you praise them, good girl, good boy, yeah. And if they don't, bring it back. But if they don't do their business, bring them back, keep an eye on them, or keep it on leash and pay attention to your puppy. And if you see that they're starting to act like or move like they're just about to do their business, take them out right away, or put them in the crate. And then an hour later, taking them out again. Try until they get this idea that I'm not supposed to have accidents indoor. And If you find your puppy has accidents in the door, nothing, do nothing. Just clean it up. Don't get upset. Don't get don't start punishing your puppy. Again, it's not puppy's fault, it's human fault. If let's say your puppy had the option, wouldn't pee indoors, would pee outdoors, because they can go in and out anytime they want. But if they're peeing inside, there are two things happening. One, the human has forgotten to take the procedure of taking the puppy out, or the puppy is so distracted with something that it forgot to pee inside, to pee outside. It got stressed, distracted, peed inside. Again, those two reasons are not reasons good enough to punish a puppy. So just clean it up and make sure that next time you're more focused. Now, mm, hmm?
Potty training.
Yeah, focus on potty training. Um, if it's chewing something, the reason they chew is either they're teething. So I don't know how your puppy is, but most puppies up to 6 to 8 months they will be teething. They will be feeling a little bit funny around their gums, and they will feel the sensation, funny sensation. So to get rid of that sensation, they chew things. They want to kind of scratch their gum and teeth. So they grab on things to chew on to get rid of this sensation. So provide lots of chew toys, and if you catch them chewing on your furniture or something that they're not supposed to, again, it's a human error. Don't provide the environment, the area for the puppy to make accidents, to have accidents. If don't put the puppy free in a living room where there's a nice coffee table that you don't want your puppy to chew on. So either have your puppy in a crate if you can't watch your puppy, if you or you put it in a X pen and your puppy is inside, or your puppy is on a leash, on a harness attached to you, or you're holding on the leash and you're keeping an eye on your puppy. And if your puppy has to be free and you have no other choice, provide lots of chew toys so to replace that nice coffee table. So the third thing that I would suggest is, if you're seeing, again, just like I was explaining to the question before, teach the verbal cue of no to your puppy, so your puppy learns that he's doing something wrong. And if you catch it on the act of chewing on a coffee table, for example, you just say, Rover, no, and Rover should stop, and give it one of the chew toys and say, work on this one, rather than chewing on the coffee table. So those are the, again, prevention techniques that you can use. Next question, and I think this is the last question that I'm going to answer today. Martha, do you recommend using a collar versus a harness? Would your recommendation change for a puppy versus adult? Very good question. For puppies, I would suggest 80% you use harness, 20% collar, and when it become adult, I would switch them around. Now, the reason for that is puppies, they have a fragile neck and fragile bones in general. So not to damage those fragile areas, I would suggest harness, but use the harness for training. You train the puppy to learn to walk properly on a harness or a collar. That's the goal. Your goal is to allow your puppy to learn how to walk properly on a leash attached to the dog, whether via harness or a collar. But it's safer to use a harness for the puppy in the beginning, for it to learn how to walk. Once the puppy learns how to walk, you can change it to collar. In that case, it doesn't really matter if they're wearing a harness or a collar. As long as they're walking properly, it doesn't matter really what they're wearing. But for puppies, I would suggest to put a harness to start with, and but you gotta train the puppy to learn how to walk properly. Now, if they are adult, including seniors, yes, I suggest again harness. Again, you don't want to put pressure on their neck. But if your puppy or your dog or your adult dog or senior dog is one of those dogs who's pulling on the leash, harness is not the answer. Teaching the puppy or the dog to learn how to walk properly, investing the time to learn how to walk properly is better than investing on the tools or the gadgets. Harness is not the solution. The solution is uh, teaching the dog's mind and the brain to learn that I'm not supposed to pull on the leash. The reason we use harness or collar or halty or this or that or even shock collars is because we don't invest time to teach the puppy or the dog to learn properly to walk properly. Then when they get bigger and stronger, then we are not able to physically control them anymore. That's why we start depending on tools and gadgets. But if they're puppy and young and small and easy to train, you take advantage of teaching them how to walk properly. And if you want to learn how to teach your puppy or dog how to walk properly on a leash, I have an online course that you can start joining today and learning how to do that, which is you can learn the information on sarodogtraining.com online courses. There you can learn how to properly teach and train your puppy to walk on a leash. Next question. We have 1 or 2 more minutes. Daniela, I'll be picking up a new 10-week-old beagle in 2 weeks on a Saturday. I will be potty training Saturday and Sunday, but what happens comes Monday when I need to put him in his kennel while I'm at work? That's one of the problems. When you have a puppy, I would suggest to take a week off. That's the reality of life. Take a week off work and what? Yes, plan ahead and make sure that you have a week off because this is very important. The first week, mm, preferably the first month to 3 months, if you could take time off and focus on your puppy, that is the most valuable and most uh, important time that you need to spend with your puppy. Um, that's the reality. That's the truth. If you have to go to work and there's no other option, you have to ask somebody to come and stay at home, pay somebody, or ask a friend or family to come and take care of what you were going to do, which is every 2 hours taking the puppy out. But if you do on a weekend, I believe you have watched my video and you know within a weekend you can potty train a puppy in 48 hours. If you do that, come Monday, your puppy is going to have less accident as long as have trained it and as long as you have providing fresh food instead of kibble or dry food. If your puppy is still eating kibble or dry food, those accidents is going to continue because your puppy has to drink a lot of water to replace the moisture that is missing from the food. So your puppy is going to over drink and is going to have accidents whether you want it or not. All the plan of 48 hours planning to potty train your puppy is going to go. So you have to not only potty train, work on 48 hours potty training your puppy, change the diet as well. So your puppy has is physically and mentally able to control its system. And last question, uh, Lihari. I'm going to go with that one. Lihari. My 2 months old beagle can't stop biting and made me bleed. Please tell me how to solve it. The biting is because your puppy is teething. It takes 2 months old, they're teething. Um, it provide a lot of chew toys for your puppy. Plus, if you could, play with it with a talk toy or something that you're not using your hand, so you're not getting involved physically with the dog. You're using a talk toy or you're using toys to play with your dog, so your puppy is chewing and biting the toy instead of you. The other thing that I would suggest to do is um, try to provide 18 hours of sleep. 2 months old puppy has to sleep 18 hours a day. If you don't provide 18 hours of the sleep, your puppy is going to get stressed when it's up too much and is going to be releasing its stress on you, on anything that you are involved with, including your hands, especially your hands. And it's going to tell you that I'm stressed. And it's telling you that I'm stressed. So provide a lot of good sleep, 18 hours sleep, good food, good exercise, playtime. Provide 4 play sessions, 15 minutes each time. Make sure that you're playing with your puppy 4 times a day, and you're providing chew toys and lots of sleep. Those are my solutions to your puppy biting issue. Great. Thank you very much. Again, remember, if you are worried about coronavirus, make sure that you're washing your hands every time after you touch your dog. Um, your dog is safe. You will be safe as well, as long as you take the procedures that I talked about in this video. Take care of yourself, take care of your dog, change your dog's diet. Fresh food is the key. Lots of exercise, good exercise, not too much, not too little. Lots of sleep, and take care of yourself. Okay, we'll get over this as long as we all do our part. And if you have any other questions, feel free to ask those questions in the comments area after the show. And if you're watching this uh, after the live session, if you need any help or if you have any questions, visit my website as well, sarodogtraining.com. And until next time, have fun with your dog.